Welcome, and thank you all for joining us tonight as we celebrate the Mid-Coast Christian Academy Class of 2014. I would like to take a moment to thank those that have made tonight possible. If the teachers, staff, volunteers, and school board of Mid-Coast Christian Academy could please stand up. I would also like to thank our 6th graduates for their dedication this year. I would like to thank each of you for the wonderful qualities that you have brought to the MCCA family over the years. For your determination, your motivation, your generosity, your strength, and of course, your humor. I hope that each of you will remember that you will always have a home at MCCA, and you will always be in our hearts. I look forward to what the future has in store for each of you. At this time, if you would like to join me, the class of 2014 has a very special recognition they would like to make.
We would like to recognize someone who has been with the school since the very beginning and who has done so much for us. She has helped us and come to every single event that we've had. We'd like to thank Mrs. Jones for all that she has done. And we have this jacket for her.
At this time, we will have our President, Garrett Burns, join us for the President's Address.
Alright, well, first off, I want to formally thank everybody's friends and family for coming out tonight and supporting us graduates. We all appreciate what you have done for us in the years that we have been at the school. We cannot get to this point without you. I want to congratulate the valedictorian and the salutatorian on achieving the titles and working hard all 4 years to be granted that title. As to the other graduates, I want to congratulate you guys on getting to this point. I know for you it was a lot tougher than I expected, and didn't see myself getting this far. And I honestly owe it all to you seniors, the underclassmen, even the teachers. I want you guys to know none of this would ever have been possible without any of you. Each one of you has taught me something this year. Veronica, you definitely kept me on task in class when I needed to be. And you would tell me when I was being obnoxious and annoying. Yes, I love this kid as if he were my own brother. He taught me loyalty. If I needed him for anything at all, he would be there for me in a heartbeat. Sid, well, he taught me how to be late for school. Sid honestly showed me how to give up on things you believe in. Steph has always been like a younger sister, especially this year. We have grown closer, and I will always have her back. And if there's one thing I know she loves more than anything, it's cats. And last but not least, Michaela, you got the will to overcome adversity. People will see that, and it will rub off onto them. Oh, and you also taught me how to be awake in gym class, because you are quite calm. You seniors have changed my life forever. Mr. Bates said in class that we all argue and fight like a family. Well, that's because we are a family. You're all my family.
Please join me in welcoming this year's valedictorian, Veronica O'Donnell.
Thank you. someone a few years older than me that there is no difference between a freshman and a sophomore, but a huge difference between a sophomore and junior, and even more between a junior and a senior. I have proof that that is not true. Hearing that has motivated me to prove them wrong. I've worked hard at it, and I know each of these other seniors have worked hard as well. As I stand here, I prove those who have said so much to me wrong. I am not only graduating a year early, but also as valedictorian. Hard work is key, but you do need people to support you. People who help you through these hard times. There have been days where I felt awful due to some people that I know and what they have said. But God has placed other people in my life to teach me and to help me learn not to care what others think of me. He's also placed people to teach me not to close myself off at times. Most freshmen are treated awful, and I am thankful that I did not have that experience. My freshman year, I was welcomed with open arms and into the family. I felt loved and wanted. No one hated me because I was a freshman. During that year, I really came out of my shell. There are people who cared what I had to say. I have two special people that I can thank, especially for that year, Rachel Allen and Justin Snow. I was nervous to enter high school, and they welcomed me and showed me the ropes. They cared about me, which is something so many teenagers need. I encourage you not to ignore those new faces that you see. Say hi and get to know them. Everyone needs a friend. Please continue this trend. Become friends with those who appear to have none. Don't just ignore them. No one wants to be left out. That person sitting alone every day may just need someone to say hi, or maybe even a word of encouragement. At the beginning of this year, before school, I decided I wanted to make a difference in someone's life. I want to be the friend that Rachel and Justin were to me my freshman year. I will be there for these people. Last year was a rough year, and I want to thank Sue Batty for letting a bunch of crazy teenagers come to our house every Tuesday. She not only fed us, but listened to us vent about the issues that we've been having. And I want to thank Julia Batty for being such an amazing friend. I love you, and I know you'll always be there for me. I want to thank you, Mr. Batty, for teaching computer and being a cool teacher. And you also put up with a crazy group of kids. Thank you, Mr. Bate, for making that interesting and teaching us and dealing with us, even on the days when we obviously aren't focusing. I want to thank Mr. Susi. In your class, you have challenged us in so many ways. You taught us how to be solid on what we believe and to become good writers through the many, many essays that you had us write. And you're definitely a funny guy who says funny things. By the way, that was great. Mrs. DiLorenzo, thank you for putting up with us as chemistry students. It's a very difficult subject, and you did your best to make it interesting. And I'm sorry that none of the rocket worked. Jerry, thank you for making Bible real to us. We many times may have complained about the stories you told us, but we enjoyed them. Thank you for being there for us, not just as a teacher or youth pastor, but as a friend. Thank you, River. We definitely do not appreciate you enough. We put you through so much. And you do a lot for us, and you treat us like your own kids. And we have become like that to you. Thank you for all you do. And like Jerry, we know you're always there for us. Teachers and friends are amazing. I don't know where I'd be without them. But there are two people who have played an even bigger role in my life, my mom and my dad. They have been there for me no matter what, and have taught me and brought me up the best that they could. At a young age, they instilled a belief in me to always work hard for what you want. If you have a dream, you can achieve it just because of hard work, and to never give up. I want to thank Mr. Mahonen for always being like a second dad to me. I love his daughters, and they're like my sisters. Thank you for being there for me. Whether I made a difference to these people, only God knows. I do, however, know that I've become close friends with many of these people. These people have made a difference in my life. Now I am preparing to enter college. I am sure I, like the other seniors here, are nervous about the future. I'm excited to grow up, but the unknown is frightening. I'm hoping to find friends like the ones I've made at Midcoast Christian Academy to help me through it. As we head down and start our new journey, we'll be confronted with many decisions. Where we go is up to ourselves and what we decide and how much effort we decide to put in. Do not be afraid to dream big. You can do anything you want. If you have the determination, you are sure to succeed in whatever it is you want to do. Never give up. Laugh every day and don't forget to enjoy life. Don't be overly serious. Be happy, be thankful, embrace change. There will be so much that will happen to us. So much change. As we leave today, we may not see each other again, but this is not goodbye. We may not talk every day, but let's all remember each other. Let's make every moment count and always be true to yourself. Never say goodbye, because goodbye means going away, and going away means forgetting. Say thank you, I love you, and great job to someone every day. Love your life and what you've been given. Search for your purpose and do the best you can. Don't be afraid to let God use you. He has great plans for you. While you're on the road called life, don't forget to thank the one who gave it to you. Always turn to God. Forgive more and enjoy the simple things in life. Never stop dreaming. Laughter is timeless. Imagination has no age, and dreams are forever.
At this time, the graduating class would like to sing the class song that they have chosen. And in your programs, you will find the lyrics. And they have requested that you all join them and sing them. So please do so. Please stand as they sing their class song.
Just a joke, you know, we are not here away.
graduation. And each time that we talked, most of them mentioned the same person over and over. Someone that had taught them at Penn Bay Christian School, and someone that is obviously very dear to their hearts, Becky Chamberlain.
Now I'm sorry I didn't prepare a song. I have a backup crew already and I didn't even know it. Next time we'll work on that. Okay folks, time for Read Aloud. I'm going to tell you a parable. This story is from The Life God Blesses by Gordon MacDonald. Once a foolish man built a boat. His intention was that it would be the grandest, most talked about boat that ever sailed from the harbor of the boat club of which he was a member. Thus he determined to spare no expense or effort. That the boat builder would come to be known as the foolish man had nothing to do with his capacity to build. It didn't have anything to do with how hard he worked. It wasn't even reference to his personality, because he was a really pleasant person. People often said this. He became known as the foolish man because of some invisible qualities that didn't show right away. But to say anything more, we'll get ahead of the story. As he built, the foolish man outfitted his craft with colorful sails, complex rigging, comfortable appointments, and conveniences in his cabin. His decks were made from beautiful teakwood. All the fittings were custom-made, polished brass. And on the stern, painted in gold letters, readable from a considerable distance, was the name of the boat, the Persona. As he built the Persona, the foolish man could not resist fantasizing about how many wonderful things people would say about him. And the more he thought about all this applause that was to come, the more he paid attention to the parts of the boat that would be seen. Now, in all of this, he didn't see a whole lot of reason to be too worried about what was underneath the boat. You know, the keel or anything that really had anything to do with distributing the weight or ballast. Experienced sailors might not think this was a good idea, but he was really looking for all the applause he could get, and nobody really mentioned the seaworthiness of the vessel. Seaworthiness isn't a big deal in dry dock. One of these occasions he was thinking about all this. He said, now, spend time and money on all this stuff that no one's going to see. I'm just going to listen to what people are saying, and they just love what I have done with my sails and these beautiful brass fittings and how I'm going to win in the Sunday afternoon regattas. And so he kept building. And generally, people thought the whole thing was beautiful and wonderful. And he did, in fact, have the most wonderful boat in the regatta. Sometimes he overheard people saying that maybe he would be elected Commodore. At any rate, finally the day came when they were going to go on the maiden voyage, and he was going to set sail. He set out on a beautiful day, and he was ready to conquer the world. He had the well-wishers around him, applauding him, cheering him on, and he looked great. He took off, and the club members said, this is it. We have such a fabulous boat here. This is going to make us go down in history. Soon the beautiful Persona was merely a blip on the horizon. After a while, he got more and more proud. He looked around and he noticed that some of the boats that went out of the harbor with him weren't there anymore. Storms seemed to be picking up, and all of a sudden bad things were happening. It wasn't a hurricane, but it wasn't really a squall, and nobody knew what was going to happen, but here we were in the middle of a storm. No one was still there because the other, more experienced sailors had already turned back. He had been too self-absorbed to notice that. Well, within minutes, the Persona's colorful sails were in shreds, the splendid mast was in splinters, the rigging was unceremoniously draped all over the bow. The teakwood decks and lavishly appointed cabin were awash with water. And then, before the foolish man could prepare himself, A wave bigger than anything he had seen hurled down upon the Persona, and the boat capsized. This is important. While most boats would have righted themselves after such a battering, the Persona did not, because the builder, this very foolish man, had ignored the importance of what was below the waterline. There was no weight there. In a moment when a well-designed keel and adequate ballast would have saved the ship, there was none to be found. He had worried too much about what was going on the surface, and not anywhere near enough about what was going on underneath. He had also been so sure of his sailing abilities that he never even contemplated going into a situation he couldn't manage, and later investigations revealed there were no rescue devices aboard. In this case, like rafts, or life jackets, or emergency radios. In your case, friends, advisors, teachers. Because of the man's poor planning and blind pride, he was lost at sea. And then everyone said, well, he should have known better than that. But no one said it before while it was being built. And now a parable, that's tricky to say that, parable. Once a wise man built a boat. His intention was that this boat was going to provide opportunities for his family's recreation. He also thought he could take along his friends, family, members that he wanted to have good times with. He did talk to his advisors. He asked the old, experienced sailors what their advice was. He said, what does a good boat look like? What experiences have you had? What can you recommend that I should avoid? And as they spoke, he listened. He listened carefully, even took notes. They spoke to him of seas that were beautiful and sometimes dangerous, of islands he might visit. They also mentioned shoals and sandbars. They told of beautiful seasons for sailing and warned about sudden storms. And when they got on the subject of boats, they talked so much about what would go into the weight below the waterline. So they told him not to worry as much about what was above the waterline, but to concern yourself with what goes under the water so that you can withstand rough waters and brutal storms. And the picture of this strong sailboat began to emerge on the architect's table. With every passing day, it became more and more clear that this boat was ready to launch. Some people said, with this boat, you could sail around the world. When the plans were all complete, he began his building. Sometimes he wanted to gloss over it, but he remembered the words that were saying, be careful. So the keel was laid, the hull was carefully built, and upon that foundation, the rest of the boat was built. And the day came for it to be launched. Again, he was cheered from the stands when he went out, and everyone thought that was going to be wonderful. They noticed the name on his boat was the Christos. It was a beautiful day when the wise men started the Christos out to sea. Across the horizon were 1,000 boats, it seemed, and they were all gently bobbing up and down. The sun was high, the breeze was moderate. It was a magnificent day for sailing. Well, a magnificent day until mid-afternoon. And then suddenly a storm from nowhere swept in. There was no warning. The Coast Guard hadn't predicted a storm. It came as a terrible surprise. Boats were no longer gently bobbing up and down. They were pitching and tossing. Soon everyone was heading in, and in a few minutes there were calls around of Mayday, Mayday. Here and there you could see a number of boats lying on their sides, their owners hanging onto rafts, hoping for rescue. The wise man in his new boat, the Christos, saw this. He was able to maintain his boat above the storm, he kept it righted, and not only that, he was also able to set forth to rescue others whose boats had not been built so well. After this, Christos was low in water because of so many sailors he had rescued, then he headed back for shore. Both of the names of these men have been forgotten. They're only remembered as the wise men. and the foolish man. And today, here you are, ready to leave a relatively safe harbor and venture into the open sea. You have often gotten good advice from older, experienced sailors. You've built your boats well. I wish it were in my power to grant you the sun on your face, the wind at your back, generally smooth sailing. But it's not in my power. The storms will come. And when they do, I wish you Godspeed. Be wise. Maintain what's below the waterline. You have planned well. Bon voyage.
I would like to welcome Pastor Randall Thistle for the pastoral address.
Hello, and thank you for welcoming me here. Over the last year, I've had the chance to speak at the chapels of the Mid-Coast Christian Academy about 10 times, and got to know the 6 graduates a little bit, as well as their classmates who will remain for another year or two. And it's been a privilege. And so when I was asked to be able to come here tonight and offer a word, I count it an honor and a privilege. I would like to be here just to say congratulations and wish you the best, and to celebrate with you on the accomplishments that you've made. It's really been a privilege to share in your chapel time with you all. I just recently celebrated a graduation as well. It was only a year ago that I was graduating with my master's degree. And as I did, I reflected on that term, master's. There's probably no greater misnomer, especially when it's applied to divinity. I have yet to meet anyone who has mastered divinity. I count my master's degree as an introduction. It was an introduction to a lifelong pursuit. I had great mentors. They taught me a lot of good things. But if I don't daily practice and pursue what they have taught me, they just gave me a little boost out the door. But it was the beginning so much more than the end. And that applies. I don't want to take anything away from what you've accomplished. We are here to celebrate what you have done with the help of your parents and your teachers. But this is just the beginning. You guys know whenever I speak, I always need water. I didn't bring any here tonight. Jerry,
Right behind you. Right behind you.
Thanks. Child size, but I'll take it.
It's just the beginning.
Because this is a pastoral address, I want to turn in God's holy word and share a few scriptures with you. You were already commended in Gordon, who is that? Gordon MacDonald? Right? That Becky just quoted in that story. To heed wise instruction. You've got a lot of good advice and good instruction, good teaching. Don't depart from it. The book of Proverbs, the teacher writes as a father to his son, giving him instruction. This is a book to the Hebrews to prepare their young people for life. And I want to read, and it's a popular passage, one you're familiar with, but from Proverbs chapter 3. My child, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and peace, they will be added to you. Do not let kindness and truth leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart, so you will find favor and good repute in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your body and refreshment to your bones. Honor the Lord from your wealth and from the first of all your produce. So your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine. My child, do not reject the discipline of the Lord or loathe his reproof. For whom the Lord loves, he reproves, even as a father corrects the son in whom he delights. Do not depart from this way that has been taught to you or commended to you. You guys, I don't get nervous at all, like speaking in front of you guys. On Sunday mornings, they can't get me to stop. But I'm really moved by this occasion. And I want to make sure that I rightly honor what you guys are doing. I want your paths as you go forth, as you graduate from school, I want them to be straight. I don't want there to be obstacles that would get you off track of God's best for your life. And so in this passage, I find a few things to commend to you. Kindness and truth. You must seek to be kind, and you must hold fast to the truth. And you must honor the Lord, acknowledge Him, fear Him, respect the Lord. Make Him a priority in your life, and He will make your paths straight. He will take the obstacles out of your way and smooth your path to your best life with Him. Some of you will go on to college. Some of you might be going right off to work. Some of you might make a name for yourself, get letters after your name. The most important thing is that you walk with the Lord. I've lived in downtown Chicago with a view of the Sears Tower. I've lived in my 1970 F-250 in Walmart parking lots. What matters most is that you enjoy the blessings of the Lord. Honor Him. Put Him first. Do not depart from this way that has been commended to you. Similarly, but most important, hold fast to the truth. We heard it from Proverbs, a passage I know I've shared in chapel, but I don't know that it's ever been the main passage of one of the messages, but I can't help but quote it. 1 Corinthians 15. Hold fast to the word preached, to the gospel, to the things that are of primary importance. If you didn't learn all your history lessons or your English, well, that's not great, but it'll be okay. But this one lesson is most important. If you do not learn this lesson, if you fail this test, then all else is lost. Paul writes, "Now I make known to you, brethren, the gospel which I preached to you, which also you received, in which also you stand, by which also you are saved, if you hold fast the word which I preached to you, unless you believed in vain. For I delivered to you as of first importance what I also received, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that He was buried, and that He was raised on the third day according to the Scriptures." The one lesson that you must learn before you leave and graduate, and so this is my last chance to commend it to you and to your friends and to your family and to your teachers and to myself and to my own soul, is this: that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, lived a perfect, sinless life. He died a sacrificial death on the cross for you and for me. And He rose from the dead. And if we trust Him, if we put our faith in Him, He will make us new creatures, new creations. The Holy Spirit will come in and give us new life if we hold fast to these teachings. We must not only put our faith in Jesus, we must keep it there and never allow anything else to displace His rightful place in our hearts as number one. Paul said, this is of first importance. This is the gospel. You want to know what the gospel is? Remember 1 Corinthians 15. Paul sums it up in a nutshell. This is your most important lesson. Do not depart from the way that you have been taught. Hold fast to the word that has been preached to you. I can offer no greater blessing. I can wish nothing greater for each one of you than to draw near to Christ and never depart from Him. And it would be no greater honor to your pastors, to your teachers, to your family members who have commended Jesus Christ to you than to see you, whatever else you go and do from here, to know that you are holding fast to the gospel will be their greatest joy, their greatest honor, and mine as well. It's been a privilege. It'll be weird, I'm assuming, as long as this is well received, that I'll get invited back next year. But some familiar faces won't be there, and that's going to be weird. But God bless you as you graduate. You're making a transition in our culture from youth to adulthood. This is an awesome rite of passage. You are to be commended for your accomplishment. Let's applaud these graduates.
As educators, there aren't many that believe more in the power of education. And not just a great high school education, but the importance of continued education after high school. Not just for the professional value gained from the college experience, but for the personal growth and understanding. It is because of this belief that Mid-Coast Christian Academy has begun what I pray will be a long-standing tradition here. And that is the creation of a very unique scholarship. This is to fund the education of one of our students. The Teacher's Scholarship Fund is very unique because it is comprised entirely of donations from teachers, staff, and school board members that are a part of Mid-Coast Christian Academy. That is how much we believe in the importance of education. The recipient of this fund is nominated by the staff here at MCCA. The criteria of the nomination is not based solely on academic success, but on the moral character of the student. We are looking for the student who has contributed the most to our school family in terms of a positive and encouraging attitude, and who always takes a stand for what is right. This student exemplifies the qualities that we strive to instill in our students. This year's recipient exhibits so many of the characteristics that are so important to us here at Mid-Coast Christian Academy. This student always comes to school with a light and positive attitude that is contagious. No matter what the occasion, this student can always make us smile, whether it be with a great joke, a funny story, or just their uplifting demeanor. Some of the comments from our staff are that this student is a motivator and a natural-born leader. They have the ability to easily earn the trust of their fellow classmates. This student is generous and always willing to lend a helping hand. This student is always also honest and transparent in the best possible sense of the word. I have personally seen this student grow so much over the years, and I am constantly impressed and inspired by the person that they have become. Tonight, I am incredibly honored to congratulate the first ever recipient of the Mid-Coast Christian Academy Teacher's Scholarship Fund, Garrett Burns. At this time we have a video presentation, and I know that some of you, because of the pillars that are here, might not be able to see the screen. So feel free to take a moment to move around, stand up if you like, and move the class as well. So the class would like to pay a special tribute to their family members that have helped them get to where they are today. So if you are a parent, a grandparent, a family member, or a friend of these graduates, can you please stand? Let's hear a round of applause again for those that have helped us. I would like to ask our school board chair to join me to present the diplomas to our graduates. Stephanie Colson. Veronica O'Donnell. Michaela Benner. Sydney Spofford. Wilfred Jess Slater. Garrett Burns. Please help me in congratulating the graduating class of 2014.